Hello. I hope everyone's having a good day today. So we are going to be working out of our Bridges student book, and we're on page 14. So if you need some time to get to that, you can pause this and find your page. So this is something we were going to do in our small group. So if you have not watched Mrs. Dickerson's math video, which is in the Wednesdays folder, you need to turn this off and go watch that first and then come back. So if you made your base 10 map or place value map, then you would be able to use that as a way to also show yourself different ways to show the same number. Okay. You can use the Unifix cubes, just like Mrs. Dickerson did. So what we're doing here is we are spending some time to think about how a number can be shown in different ways. So it gives us an example up here. So it tells us the number 42, and it tells us also how it's spelled out. And then the first way you should do it is how you should see it. So we talked about how in the one spot you can't have more than 9 because it moves it up in place value. The value of that number is different. If you have 10, that's 110. And you can't put a 10, the number 10, in the ones spot, right? But this is a little bit different. This is showing us how we can see a number physically instead of it written down. So we see that it's written down here where there's a 4 in the 10 spot and a 2 in the 1 spot. But here we're showing that number using what is Unifix cubes or base 10 models is what they're also called on paper, which is a little bit different than the written number. So here it tells us that if we had 4 10s and 2 1s, that's 42, which is right. The next one it shows us is that there's 2 10s and 22 1s, which is still 42, right? Is it? Think about it. If there's 2 10s and 22 1s, is that 42? You said yes, you're right, because remember 2 10s is 20. So if you have 2 sets of 10, that's 20. Okay, and the third one they showed us is that there's 3 10s, and 12 1s. Is that 42? Yep, if you said yes, you're right, because there's 3 10s, which means 10, 20, 30, plus 12 is 42. Okay, so our job is we're going to come down here and you're going to practice doing exactly what this did, showing the same number in 3 different ways. So you're going to do 33. So the most obvious way would be to circle 3 10s, right? And then 3 1s. So we have 1, 2, 3 10s. Make sure you put a 3 by the 10s, and we have 1, 2, 3 1s. Okay, so now you need to think of a different way you can show 33. And if you need to use a piece of scrap paper to write out different equations for what numbers could equal 33, that might help you as well. Okay, so you're going to need to do page 14 and 15. And the difference, once we get down here, is that this one, for 5 and 6, they're showing you a number and you need to write down what that number is. So you're going to count the number of 10s and write that in here. And remember, you don't write, so if you had, say, 4 10s, you wouldn't write 40, right? Because 40 10s is a very different number than 4 10s, okay? And then you write down your 1s, and then you add them for the total, and you do the same for number 6. And what you'll notice is that as we move from page 14 to page 15, the numbers are getting bigger. So we're going to have to think a little bit harder on that. Okay, And we have 60 Unifix cubes. For a number over 60, you won't be able to use them using your mat.